muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Okay, obviously the background is not like our normal. I'm currently in Munich. I saw Adele last night and she was just so incredible. I'm gonna be doing a photo dump on my Instagram very soon and showing all the videos, but oh my god, just so mind-blowingly amazing. I always wanted to see her when she was in Vegas, and I don't know, being able to see her in that big open stadium in Munich, which is such a beautiful city, and also it was like thunderstorm, lightning, raining the entire time, and it just added to the entire concert. It was incredible. But anyways, that's not what we're here to discuss. Today we're going to be discussing Rosanna Pansino's new video because it is an insane one. Before we get into this video, if you're not subscribed, please consider it. Over 67% of people that watch in the last couple of weeks are not subscribed. I'm going to be here every day. Let's talk about Rosanna's new video. Okay, so it is titled The Real mrbeast, and then in little, quotations, leaked document. I meant to say brackets. I don't know why I was struggling so much with just common English there. But anyways, her new video is going through a document that was sent by mrbeast's team, and it is really telling. And quite honestly, this is one of like the most damning videos that I've ever seen against a creator. And you all know that I've had my critiques of Miss Rosanna Pansino, specifically whenever it comes to this mrbeast situation. But what I do have to say is I literally do need to issue an apology to her because we spoke privately and we were actually a little secret. We were gonna film today. The day I'm filming this, we were gonna do like a little interview for my channel and basically have her clarify all the kind of points that I was like missing in the story and whatever. And she was so chill. She was so dying to have that conversation with me privately and publicly. So I have a lot of respect for her now. And yeah, we're gonna get to her new video. Go support. I know she's like continuously talking about this, but yeah, this one is definitely the most intense one yet. So it is called The Real mrbeast. Let's get to it. And again, everything I will always say whenever I cover a Rosanna Pansino video is she will make sure that the makeup is sitting great, she'll make sure the hair is sitting great, and she'll make sure she has a good ass outfit on. And I always appreciate that. Alright, let's get to it.
Hey guys, so I'm sure most of you have seen that there's been a lot of news coming out about mrbeast, Jimmy Donaldson, some of his employees, and his, in my opinion...
Oh, and by the way, we did the part 1 of the employee speaking out against mrbeast. It was like an hour long. I am going to get to part 2, and then I have seen that a bunch more employees have been speaking out against mrbeast. This is one of the craziest media storms we've ever seen against any creator on this platform, and the fact it's on the biggest creator and there really has been very little acknowledgement, even though all of the videos are blowing up. Everyone is listening to the people that are coming forward. It's crazy how much he's being protected, but I'm hoping that we do start to see some accountability. Like, we still haven't got any statement from Amazon, who are literally hosting the Beast Games show that Rosanna has been speaking about. Not really much from mrbeast camp at all. I'm hoping that changes very soon, because if this was any other creator, they would be getting so much shit for not addressing what is going on. But it's mrbeast. He's protected. He's one of the big guys. He's a good guy, he gives away money. He gives away cars.
In terrible business practices, some of which I've seen honestly may be illegal. There are a lot of really good videos about this topic that have been coming out in the last few days on YouTube, so I highly encourage everyone to go and watch some of them. Also, I have some more updates and stories from the Beast Games, which I will continue to talk about. They are filming the beginning of part 2 of that series in just a few days, and I am still very concerned about the contestants' well-being. So if you're competing in the Beast Games, please be aware of what's going on around you. The rumors I'm hearing is that they're still essentially hiring almost all new people to work on the set of Beast Games, which, if you ask me, is not enough time to adequately prepare everything safely for the next phase. Which brings me to why I'm making this particular video.
But also on that point, we literally have confirmed that it was going to be 1,000 people and now it's 2,000 people. So what, they're like rush hiring a bunch of people last minute to deal with either the backlash or the needs of another 1,000 people? Like, this is a recipe for disaster because they are not prepared for the amount of work that they are going to have to put into this. And also, Rosanna and other people have said, whether they're true or not, the leaks of what the competitions are going to be for the people that are competing, and they are literally like life-threatening. Like, this show like needs to be canceled. Like, what Rosanna has basically been alluding to this entire time is like, what is it going to take? Someone to die? I don't know.
Very concerning document was sent to me who says that this is an internal employee manual written by Mr. Beast Jimmy himself. I confirmed the legitimacy of this document with 2 former Mr. Beast employees. I think that this gives you a little insight to the type of person Jimmy really.
There's something so badass. You know why I really, really, really respect her now? There's something really badass about basically like leaking an internal document that Mr. Beast has written himself, that basically, as we'll see, it will show him in such a dangerous, disgusting light. And God, there's something so brilliant about her doing this. You know what? Mad respect, mad respect.
He lays out what he expects from his employees in great detail. To me, the mask has begun to slip, and it truly is a small look into the mind of the beast. One last thing that I'd like to point out is that this is a document.
Now, as much as I'll praise her, I will still call, you know, things out when they are cringy, a mind into the beast behind Mr. Beast. Okay, Rosanna, we need to leave the cringe out the door. Come on, girl.
That Jimmy expected people to read. If I had to guess, I'd say he's even having to filter himself in this document. Eesh. I'm gonna be posting the full text on my Twitter, and I highly recommend you download it and take a look for yourself. It's long, it's 36 pages. We'd be here for 10 hours if I tried to read the entire thing because I'm a slow reader, so I'll just be reading some of the more concerning.
Now, one of the comments that I got on my video from you shady fuckers is Rosanna in a previous video had said that she's a slow reader because she's dyslexic. And someone commented and said, well, if Rosanna's dyslexic and saying that she reads so slow, why is she able to read better than Adam McIntyre is? And to that person, you're unfortunately correct. I do struggle with words. I'm not dyslexic, but it is quite impressive how Rosanna manages to be dyslexic and say that she's going to struggle with the words and do 10 times better than I do.
Parts. Okay. The title of this document is How to Succeed in Mr. Beast's Production. I'm going to start on page 4, a section he titles, I Only Want A Players. As I type this, I realize it may not be the wisest to categorize everyone into 3 buckets. But this is how I believe we should look at everyone a part of the production team. So basically, he already knows what he's about to say is inappropriate, but he can't help himself from doing it and saying it. You're either an A player.
By the way, I'm gonna just zoom in on this video because I want to see Rosanna, and I'm filming this on my laptop and my display is really small. Go support her video and you'll see everything in the entire text, and maybe we will go through the entire thing if I'm able to get my hands on it. I know she said it's down below, but it has been getting deleted and taken down and all the rest. So for this video, I'm focusing solely on Rosanna's, you know, delivery of it.
B player or C player. There is only room at this company for A players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses.
We'll only hire you if you're fucking obsessive. Really great, guys, really great. We're starting off very strong.
Believe in YouTube, see the value of this company, and are the best in the goddamn world at their job. B players are new people that need to be trained into A players, and C players are just average employees. They don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what they do. Okay. As he's saying, they don't suck, but they aren't exceptional, he misspells aren't. The hypocrisy. Let's move on.
And he got clocked by a dyslexic person.
Just exist, do whatever, and get a paycheck. They aren't obsessive, aren't spelled wrong again. C players are poisonous and should be transitioned to a different company immediately, all caps. It's okay, we give everyone severance, so they'll be fine.
Now again, so much of this I would want to read as sarcasm, but knowing what we know about the employees that have been speaking out against Mr. Beast, it's very much so that this is actually how the company is, and you have to be an obsessive, you know, workaholic who devotes your entire livelihood to Mr. Beast to succeed. Like, it's really unfortunate that we're reading something that almost reads very sarcastic, and I'm like, wow, this is actually just how he speaks. And it's just, how is this the person on top of YouTube? Oh my God.
I don't even know where to begin with this because he essentially is putting everyone into a system, and he definitely plays favorites at his company. Anyone he considers an A person, those are his close friends who behave exactly the way he wants to behave, and then everyone else is treated less than. And if you're just a hardworking, everyday person who goes to your job on time, does your job, stays the full hours, gives it your all, and then goes home and has a normal life, like a work balance life that's healthy, that is considered a C player. That is considered unacceptable in his eyes. That is considered poisonous in his eyes. Anyone who has a healthy work-life balance relationship is poisonous. All right, moving on. On to page 17, own your mistakes. This
Ironic, coming from Jimmy Donaldson, mrbeast.
coming from Jimmy, someone who has never owned his mistakes, never taken accountability, and never apologized for any of his poor behavior. He pays someone, a PR team, a spokesperson, and now a crisis management team to speak on his behalf. He never apologizes or takes accountability for anything. This is so hard for me to read because the hypocrisy is so strong. I hate excuses and despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they've messed up.
Not only, again, is this so ironic because it fully describes what he's literally doing, but I've never seen like a workplace manual that is just full on threatening the employees. Like, I almost like don't believe that this is real because it's like that bad. Like, how are you in your workplace manual literally just like threatening the new hires? But guys, he's the nice one of YouTube, remember? He's the good one. He's one of the good ones.
Mistakes are okay. Genuinely, they are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another, and you can go ask them yourselves if I've ever held it over their heads.
It sounds like he is. And if he doesn't hold it over their head, he doesn't fucking forget. It's also such a crazy line to write, again, in like a hiring manual that, well, everyone here at one stage or not has cost me $1 million. He sounds like the scariest boss.
I'm sure you never hold it over their heads. I'm sure you never bring it up again. You don't mention it again. You don't write it in an employee handbook. And now that Jimmy's brought it up, I just want to ask the question, are there any veterans out there who have worked for Jimmy where you feel like he has held things over your head? Let me know. My DMs are open.
Oh, she is going full throttle against him, isn't she?
The reason I'm okay with f**k-ups is because I know that's how you learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain. Parentheses, hence why I have zero tolerance for C players and they must go immediately. Those f**k-ups could be done by an A player that will retain the information learned. Again, to my point,
he's just calling the majority of people stupid assholes right now that are going to cost him millions.
He plays favorites. If you're one of his favorites, you can f**k up as much as you want and there's no repercussions. But if you're not one of his favorites, if you're not on his good side, you f**k up and you're gone. I just beg you that you learn from every mistake and try not to repeat it. That's when it gets annoying. The hypocrisy.
Didn't he just say that he expects people to make a lot of mistakes, but now he's saying if you make them often, that's when it gets annoying? There's no way this is a real document. Like, I believe it is, you know. I have nothing to prove that it's not, but, like, how is it real?
Jimmy, you don't even learn from your mistakes. I've never, ever, ever once fired someone on the spot for messing up. You have nothing to be afraid of. Own shit so we can address how to fix it and then move on.
This is also really just unprofessionally written as well.
I like that he's boosting about how much self-control he has, that he's never, ever, ever fired someone on the spot for making a mistake. What a great guy. And I have confirmation that instead, he has his mom fire them the next day. Wonderful self-control. Page 18.
Oh, she has the facts. She has the facts, doesn't she? This is beautiful.
Nothing comes before your priorities. When you're being assigned tasks, you
Nothing comes before your priorities. What other workplace would speak like this?
Should have what I call a prio list. If Ali says your prios are to 1. Get a Lamborghini under 200K. 2. Get it wrapped in anime characters. 3. Make a custom steering wheel. Then nothing on this freaking planet is allowed to come between you and getting those priorities done. If the other team asks for your help and you spend 2 days helping them and fall behind on getting your Lamborghini secured, that's your fault. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. Parentheses, jokes, ha ha ha. But seriously, don't let anything come before your prios.
Okay, so what I'm hearing here is that mrbeast LLC needs to be investigated. Dude, that's really bad. Really bad. Like, it's like these weird threatening jokes that he's making in there. You know, if it's burning down, well, still don't stop. Jokes, LOL. But, like, he's literally saying, like, nothing should come between you and getting this work task done. It's like, this is the most abusive workplace, like, discussion to an employee I've ever seen.
I'm just gonna read that again for anyone who is missing this. If the studio is burning down and you stop...
I love how she says down. Down. Did you hear that? She went down. Wait. If it's burning what, Rosanna? Down.
Who is missing this. If the studio is burning down and you...
Oh, wait. She didn't say anything like I said it. Wait. Did I just make that up?
Who is missing this. If the studio is burning down and you stop...
Down. Down. If the studio is burning down. I love it.
I'm just gonna read that again for anyone who is missing this. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and you don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. That's wrong. This is psychotic. This is dangerous. He's literally saying that the company culture is if the studio with employees is burning down, you should not go help and save their lives. You should go wrap that car with anime characters. That is the #1 priority. This way of thinking is psychotic. This is dangerous. It is absolutely unacceptable.
Also, by saying something as vague as, you know, like, nothing comes before your work, it opens up a line of, I hate to say it, but abuse that could happen in a workplace by, it's not specifically saying what that line is. You know what I mean? Like, okay, does that mean if you're having a heart attack, you know, do you have to film or else you get fired? Or, you know, if you need an EpiPen, oh, but you haven't, you're still on that phone call. Like, it opens up so much just misclarification or whatever the word is, like, where things could be misunderstood. And I think it's being said for that purpose of being vague. It's fucked up.
Acceptable, which rolls us right into page 19. No does not mean no. For the people out there.
Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? Oh my god. All right, let's continue this.
Who are saying he's not edgy anymore. He's learned. This document is pretty new and references some of his...
I'm really trying to let it play for a bit before I comment on that because we've just been told the heading, but it's really hard to not fully erupt at the fact that allegedly in a workplace document, it says no does not mean no. In a workplace document. Okay, I'm gonna try just get through this so then we can make a comment on it.
Newer videos. He has not learned. This is who he is. So the title No Does Not Mean No is a very obvious reference to essay. Instead of communicating...
Also, just how stupid do you have to be to include that in a formal document that can get leaked? NDAs don't mean shit.
In a professional manner, saying be persistent when you're producing or working. No does not mean no is the company culture. of mrbeast. When dealing with people outside mrbeast Productions, never...
Oh, this part was so gross. I remember now. So basically, this next part of the document is basically saying that if we want to go and film in a shop and the employees say that the manager won't let you because, you know, protocol is no filming or no professional filming, keep asking them. And then find out if the manager is a fan of mrbeast, or if their son or daughter or child or niece or nephew or goddaughter is a fan of mrbeast. Try use mrbeast's name to kind of bypass any rules. And it's basically this full document that is saying that rules that apply to the regular person do not apply to us. So find a way to either like manipulate people or gaslight people or change their opinion or bribe them in some way so that we can do what we're not allowed to do. And it's so fucking gross. And it makes sense with how much he films in these shops and stuff. And it's just so fucking gross.
Take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean Talk to other employees and see if any are fans or if any have kids that are fans.
So basically, everyone loves me, mrbeast. So there should be a fan somewhere here. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If all the other avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. This is literally so disgusting because this is putting everyday working people's jobs at stake. If it's a company policy not to film there and you're pressuring them to do so, they could get in trouble. They could lose their jobs. That's their income, that's their livelihood. And for what, a YouTube video? You are not more important than any other person in this world. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of the many tools.
Pushing through no on a workplace document? There's very little to say on that, but you know what I mean?
That when combined dramatically, improve your probability of success when producing here. This is more the Jimmy I know, someone who uses their money, power, and fame to bully other people into positions that they don't feel comfortable with, that they could get in trouble for, they could lose their jobs, and lose their ability to make income for their family. Next section, work on multiple videos every day. Please do not come in and only work on one.
Now, this part as well was also really, really, really weird to me. It was basically saying that when you come in, and it is very obvious, when you come in and work for mrbeast, if you're working on one piece of work a day instead of multiple, if you're editing one video instead of editing 4, that's a wasted day, and you're basically a shitty employee because you've now fallen behind on 4 videos because you've been focusing on 1, which is such flawed logic, because if you work hard on 1, you get 1 done quicker, which means that you could then rotate through all of them one by one quicker. But instead, this is saying split your energy multiple ways to get as much done as possible, which goes to show that he doesn't value the content he makes and it's mass-produced and it's shit.
One video during a workday.
Also, this is just like proudly saying that they overwork their workers, by the way.
That's how you fall behind on future videos and create a nasty cycle that I'm trying to stop.
Nasty cycle is crazy.
If you drop everything and go all in on one video for 3 days, then that's 3 days your other videos will fall behind, and eventually you'll have to drop other videos to focus on those videos, and it will snowball into you can't do anything but focus on what's right in front of you because you've murdered any lead time you had. If you ever only work on one video during the day, you failed as a mrbeast employee that day. Wow, what a fun boss. Jimmy, this just sounds like people are overworked and you're hiring people who are drowning in work. I think there are some circumstances where you should be just focusing on one thing a day, like Safety, having a safety director where that's all they do. That's their job. That's how professional sets are ran. All right, so here's a section with a bunch of random Jimmy thoughts. It's called Random Things You Should Know, page 23. Let's read a few of them. Do not leave contestants waiting in the sun, parentheses, ideally waiting in general, for more than 3 hours. Squid Games, it cost us $500,000, and Boys vs. Girls, it got a lot of people out. Ask James to know more. Well, have I got stories about people you kept out in the sun for days. We'll come back to that later. Also, when he says ask James to know more, he's referring to an employee called James Warren. You'll probably be hearing this name a lot more in the future, and I'll be covering stories involving him as well. Here's another thought. I'd rather you be honest with each other than nice to each other. I also believe in honesty. I'm a big fan of it, but did you know you can be honest?
I was about to say that's such a weird statement that can be interpreted in multiple different ways. This is why this document is so dangerous, because it is so vague. Saying that I would rather you be honest than nice. Yeah, if you're in a workplace, honesty goes a long way and it will be more beneficial in the long run than someone who's just nice. But when you're actively saying that you would prefer someone to be honest over nice, it can open up so much for bullying, harassment. But then, you were told to be honest instead of be nice. I'm just being honest. I think you're a piece of shit. I think you look ugly, and I think you're a really bad editor, and you bring no good ideas. But that's me being honest, honesty before being nice. And then it creates such a bad workplace environment.
And respectful at the same time. You don't have to be honest and mean to someone. You can do both. Again, the hypocrisy. Jimmy cannot take honesty. He can't take honest criticism. He can't take honest feedback. And if you are honest with him while working at his company, you will most likely be fired. This next random thing you should know is why I have said that Jimmy plays favorites, and he truly cultivates a boys club, his favorite boys. Do not talk down to talent or do anything to make them feel like I need them to be happy and in good moods, and those boys are special to me. Ideally, most talks with talent, parentheses, Chris, Carl, Chandler, and Nolan.
So basically, you can be mean as fuck to all the other employees, but not my best friends. You have to lick their asses. Because they need to be in good moods.
Go through me, or Ollie, or Tyler to avoid confusion amongst them. Another thought. We pivot a lot. Be ready to have everything flipped on its head at a moment's notice. Lol. As someone who's worked on many professional sets, to some degree, this can be true. Especially on location, you can...
I was about to say, while this may happen, it's not really great to normalize this happening. That's not things changing last minute. That's being so unprepared.
Run into factors that you didn't plan for correctly and you weren't prepared for. The ability to adapt and make changes on set is important as little problems arise.
I was about to say, little changes would be if you were going to film outside, but now it's too dangerous. You have to film inside. Not, oh no, we've added an extra 1,000 people onto the competition. What are we going to do? That's not a flipping the switch.
But, however, when it comes to people's safety, like on the Beast games, you can't just make changes last minute on the fly at a production scale that large with that many people and have it be okay. And I've been talking to members of the crew who said that they were making changes minutes before some of these dangerous challenges, and they were scared people were gonna get hurt, and they did. Oh, here's a great one. I want money spent to be shown on camera, ideally. If you're spending over $10,000 on something and it won't be shown on camera, seriously think about it. And this is why so many people say that he only does charity for camera, because if he...
No, I interpret that two ways. Number one is I interpret it exactly how I think of mrbeast, which is someone who is actually quite evil and wants all of his good acts to be shown on camera. It's kind of like the person who they'll walk past a homeless person and they'll go to give money and then they realize that no one's looking and then they take the money back, they make sure people are looking and they put it down, or they record themselves doing it. And then number two, I also look at it in the case of tax write-offs. You know, it being in the document, if you're spending more than 10,000, you know, why aren't you filming it? Because if it's filming it, then it can be classed as a work purchase. And if it's, and then it, you know, changes with like work, tax write-offs, saving money, tax loopholes, all this shit. I interpret that both ways. Both ways are not great.
he can't film it, he doesn't want to do it. Pull all-nighters weeks before the shoot so you don't have to days before the shoot. If you planned with adequate...
Sorry, that is crazy. Plan all-nighter or do all-nighters weeks before the shit instead of days before. You should not be giving your employees workloads where they have to continuously take all-nighters. That's on you, not the employee's ability to work. That's on your ability to understand a reasonable amount of work.
Adequate time, preparation, and staff, your staff wouldn't have to be doing all-nighter.
Also a great point from Rosanna, if you're hiring enough people, then 1 or 2 people shouldn't have to continuously do all-nighters.
Also, the way he's worded it is that there's gonna be all-nighters no matter what. So it's either days before the shoot or weeks before. So he's encouraging people, don't sleep weeks before the shoot. And remember, you have to be working on multiple videos at the same time. It pretty much sounds to me like you guys are always pulling all-nighters and you're heavily overworked. Here's the last Jimmy thought I'm gonna read. Never do anything that can make us look bad from a PR perspective. Jimmy only cares about his image, and Jimmy can also not follow his own advice. If you download the document and read through it, they mention multiple times how important their PR image is, but not once in the entire document do they ever reference doing the right thing. Page 28. The longer people watch, the better a video will do. This is why I'm such a stickler about every single second of content. I wanted to pause and point this out because I see a lot of people, Jimmy fans, leaving comments saying, well, Jimmy didn't do that, his editors did this. And I want it to be very clear that Jimmy approves every single second of footage that goes onto his YouTube channel. He is obsessive, he is extremely involved, and nothing goes onto his channel without his approval. I've confirmed this with people who work on Jimmy's videos, and he has literally confirmed this in a document. On page 31, I wanted to point this out because Jimmy is very aware of his demographic and who his audience is. It's very strategic, it's pointed. He says, but despite saying that, at its core, if I had to describe it, I'd say the average MrBeast viewer is a teenage memer that likes video games. I'd like you to keep this in mind as more news comes out and unfolds. He is very aware that his audience is youth. Page 34, it's okay for the...
And again, this is such a thing that happens when a creator gets called out. The fans or people that will defend them will be like, well, you don't understand their demographic. And we'll have so much goddamn evidence of the creator themselves acknowledging their fucking fan base age. And it's like, you can't play dumb forever, dude. You literally cannot play dumb forever.
Boys to be childish. It's okay for boys to be boys. The boys club is back, and here we are. If talent, he's referring to his best friends, wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in a video or do something stupid, let them. Parentheses, assuming they know all the risks and aren't missing context on why it's not safe. People like when we are in our natural element of...
So, I thought you only wanted A players. It sounds like your A players, as in your best friends, are actually extremely inappropriate. And also have, like, no workplace relationship that's appropriate, but it's okay because they're A players. Got it.
Stupidity. Really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make
empower the boys, his friends, but basically bully each other. Remember, honesty over niceness, guys.
Content. Help them be idiots. This just shows the culture that he is intentionally building. He plays favorites, there is a boys club, and they are allowed to do things that other people aren't. Page 35. I want famous people in our videos. Next line.
By the way, for the people that still defend MrBeast in even my comment section by being like, but he gives away so much money, he's so great, whatever. I hope you're listening to all of this and realizing that at its core, he does not give a shit about any of that.
I can't even read this. We don't fake things. The absolute delusion. Yes, you do, Jimmy. The majority of all your videos are faked.
And we've got that seemingly confirmed by the employees that have been speaking.
Yes, there is a range of the authenticity. Some of the videos do have some authenticity to them, but overall, they are fake. Creator Games 3 was not authentic. Logan Paul did not place second. You can't fake intensity in videos. Really? Really, Jimmy? What's this?
We literally found him 1 minute before Zach.
We literally found Logan Paul. That never happened. Fake. The document ends with talking about
One thing she'll do, clock him on that game show she did.
your career at mrbeast. If you've made it this far, you're probably at least semi-interested in this being your career. So I wanted to chat about it. Because if you're ambitious and want to dedicate your life...
What's crazy is you read all this before you choose to be an employee of mrbeast.
to work, you pick the best company in America to do it at. The delusion. I would love to see the benefits of the best company in America.
But also, what makes it the best company in America? This is literally like this phenomenon of like best pizza in the world, best slice of pepperoni in the world, best coffee in the world that you'll see in New York with all the shops with like the best in the world. This is like best company in the world. Okay, but like...
Would love to see the policies about your maternity leave, paternity leave, paid time off, which it doesn't seem like working for you is encouraged ever. And from what I'm hearing, you don't even like people taking holidays off, such as Christmas. This sounds like the worst company to work for in America to me. If you want to become a production manager, tell James your intention and ask him why you suck and how you can become better. Seriously, he will give you a list of things that you need to improve to become what we need, and if you actually listen and master those things, we will give you a shot at the role. Parentheses, only...
I never want to have to persuade someone, never mind mrbeast, this much to hire me. Ever. Like, this is like selling your soul.
Problem is most people think they are better than they really are and don't take seriously when we give them things to improve and then wonder why they never move up. I actually agree with Jimmy here. I do think that some people think that they're better than they are and that they don't take things seriously to improve. This isn't a stepping stone. This is your final destination.
He's gonna kill you! He's gonna make you do one of the Beast games and he's gonna murder you!
All I can think about are the horror films, so moving forward. Now, read this all over again because I guarantee you didn't retain enough. I literally love that he ends his document by getting in one more jab to the new employees who are reading through this. Now read it again because I guarantee that you're an idiot. Read it again because I guarantee you couldn't retain something. Like just throwing an insult in there and talking down to people. A lot of people can read something and retain it. Projection much? All of that just barely scratches the surface of what's in here, so I will be posting the whole thing on my Twitter, so if you'd like
God,
to
she's really clocking him, isn't she?
read through it, you can. To me, working for mrbeast sounds very toxic and dangerous. It's a boys' club where everyone is overworked. It is almost cult-like. It's someone who cares about the work and not about the people. To end the video, I wanted to read some quotes, excerpts from an article written by the Rolling Stones and a journalist who visited Jimmy in person at his company in North Carolina. I'll be posting the link to the article down below if you'd like to read the entire thing. Quote, Donaldson says he doesn't give a f*** about money and plans to give it all away before he dies. Quote, I don't want to live my life chasing the next shiny object to the next shiny object. He says this as we drive around in his Tesla Model X. This is the journalist pointing out the hypocrisy. It's a sad, miserable way to go about life. I agree with you, Jimmy. It is. His assistant, a model handsome Utah transplant named Steele, says that prior to his hiring and Donaldson's ex-girlfriend redesigning his kitchen, YouTube's biggest star had lawn chairs in his living room and mattresses on the floor. I don't give a shit about looks, Donaldson says. I just care about functionality. Yet he also seems to be fixated on how much some shiny objects cost, pointing out that his custom-built double-sided refrigerator, which he had made so his chef could deliver meals from the outside without disturbing him, was 50 grand to install. So he literally paid $50,000 so that he wouldn't have to see his private chef.
The journalist of that article was EJ, who I love, and EJ clocked.
Deliver some meals to him. Perhaps the greatest threat to MrBeast's family-friendly brand was in 2021 investigation by the New York Times that quoted several former employees alleging that Donaldson had fostered a toxic work environment, screaming at workers, forcing them to work long hours, and calling them slurs. Two of the former MrBeast editors who spoke out against him, Nate Anderson and Matt Turner, deleted the videos they'd posted about their experiences because of the harassment they got from MrBeast fans.
And you know why I want to circle back to my apology to Rosanna? I think I was so ultimately focused on the fact of that I didn't really understand fully her intentions with speaking out. And at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what her intentions are. The fact that she is continuing to open up the conversation to these people who have tried to speak out in the past and have deleted their videos due to harassment, and she's opening this landscape conversation online, and now we're seeing all these other people. I have to fully do an apology to her and also do a hats off. And yes, I am always willing to take my opinion, take my take, realize it was a bad take, figure out why I want to change that, sit on it, and then come to you and change it. And I do want to let you know that I do now fully perceive my take on Rosanna in the past as being a bad take. I've realized the actual importance of her speaking out, and I do apologize directly to her for the fact that I missed that, and that got lost in translation on my behalf, but it was only me misunderstanding it. You know what I mean? Like, everything's already been out there. So I think that people have spoken out in the past and they've had to delete due to harassment. Like, she really is changing the game here. So,
direct quote from MrBeast. Jimmy, I want to be the biggest YouTube channel ever, he says. Not even for my ego. I don't know. I just want it. It gives me something to strive for, to get out of bed and grind for. But it's also just vanity, which is ego. I wanted to read this section of the article because I noticed online that a lot of MrBeast fans are harassing MrBeast's ex-girlfriend, Maddie. I thought this would be interesting for you guys to hear. This article came out after they split up. He recently split from lifestyle influencer Maddie, who has appeared in a handful of his videos. And those in his...
Also, did you see his new girlfriend posted on Twitter and was like, guys, half of the stuff out there about MrBeast is not true, trying to defend him, and everyone was like, wait, you just said half of the stuff isn't true. That means half of it is, at bare minimum.
Circle told
These people
me
are not
that
clever.
Maddie had been a positive influence, forcing Donaldson to prioritize work-life balance more. Donaldson did not want to comment on the record about the breakup, yet Tyson, which is Chris David Tyson, who is his best friend for his entire life and roommate, yet Tyson says Donaldson's singular focus on work was a major contributing factor. Quote, I think that's what he's going to be looking for next. Someone who can match his obsession with business and money.
But he doesn't care about money, right? He wants to give it all away.
All that kind of stuff. Now, normally when you have a breakup, your best friends are the first people to villainize an ex. But that is not what happened in this situation. His best friends are saying that she had a positive influence in his life.
And
she helped him have a more healthy and normal work-life balance. They have all said positive things about her. She's a sweetheart. For today's video, I just want to read one last section from the Rolling Stones article. The one word that those in Donaldson's orbit used to describe him is obsessive. He has a tendency to fixate on one thing at the expense of all other subjects. There's a 5-year point in my life where I just relentlessly, unhealthily obsessed with studying virality, studying the YouTube algorithm, he says. I woke up, I would Uber Eats food, and then I would sit on my computer all day just studying nonstop with other YouTubers. There was also a Settlers of Catan phase that's led to Donaldson's assistant buying at least 5 copies of the strategy game a month, so there'd always be fresh ones lying around. Donaldson relishes the strategy and machinations it demands, deadpanning. I'm great at lying. Deadpanning to the journalist. Quote, I'm great at lying.
Okay, ignore the fact that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is on my top suggestion. Okay, you know what? Again, need to reiterate that I think that what Rosanna's doing is very important. And it truthfully took me too long to notice that. Go support her. She is doing a lot. And while I've said that as a criticism, I'm not saying it as a positive thing. If this document is real, the only reason I'm saying that, obviously, is just for the sake of legal. It's setting such a dangerous precedent, or preset, whatever the word is. But also, he just sucks, dude. He sucks, dude. And, like, he's like a worse version of David Dobrik. I never thought I would ever say that, but somehow that exists. Muckers, let me know your opinion. If you would like me to go through the entire document, once I get back to Brighton in a couple days, I will. Please let me know if you're down for that, and I will go through it. I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.